Attorney General Todd Blanche, who's preparing for his confirmation hearing Wednesday, Williams writes that his apparent capacity to speak for both plaintiffs and defendants demonstrates there was only one party whose interests were being represented throughout the case. I'm Jennifer King.
In Maine, several hundred demonstrators gathered in the city of Biddeford yesterday after an Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent fatally shot a driver. Immigrant rights groups have identified the man as a 26-year-old native of Colombia. The Homeland Security Department says an agent fired when a vehicle tried to flee a location that officers were watching. Maine Senator Angus King says Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin told him the man was not who agents were looking for. Amy Goodman was at the demonstration.
Sadly, it's something that we are seeing a whole lot more often lately, and I'm mad about it.
A handful of pro-ICE and pro-Trump protesters demonstrated across the street. The government's latest inflation report will be released later today. Meanwhile, oil prices surged as the fighting intensified in the Middle East. More stories at apnews.com. This is AP News. Bangkok city officials say the fire that broke out in a music bar has killed 30 people and injured over 70.
Bua Rian Razi has travelled from Ubon Ratchathani in Thailand's northeast to pick up the remains of her nephew. She tells the AP, "We're here to retrieve his body. I raised him with my own hands. His mother was not well. She's disabled. His father died 3 years ago. Sipithon had arrived in Bangkok only a month ago. He was hoping to make more earnings in the city as there were more job prospects. The blaze at the Rong Beer Now Lad Prao bar, the city's deadliest in 17 years, broke out late Sunday. An investigation into the cause and whether the bar was following safety regulations is ongoing. Police say most of the people who were killed were found trapped in windowless bathrooms where they may have sought to escape the flames. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
And I'm Marcela Sanchez, AP News.
KGUM-FM, Dedido, the talk of Guam. This is Wave 105.1 FM, a Glimpses media radio station.
Hafaday Guam, over the last 2 years, we have built strong relationships, opened new doors, and created real opportunities for our island. Those partnerships continue to grow stronger, and together, we are making meaningful progress for Guam. Early voting for 2026 primary elections begins July 9th and runs through July 25th at the Westin Resort. Tuesdays through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now is not the time to lose momentum. The foundation has been laid, the relationships have been built, and opportunities before Guam have never been greater. Your vote will help ensure we continue moving forward together. I humbly ask for your support and your vote. Let's keep building a stronger future for Guam. I'm James Moylan, a candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by James Moylan for Congress. David L. Camacho, Treasurer.
Got friends who still haven't switched to GTA? Now's the time to give them a nudge, because you can get up to $150 just for sending them our way. Refer a friend who signs up for a single service like wireless or internet, and you'll score $100. And if they go for a choice bundle, that's a cool $150 in your pocket. It's simple, it's sweet, and it pays to share. Visit GTA.net to start referring today. GTA, we start with you. Terms and conditions apply. Visit GTA.net for more information.
Pat's Tinting and Detailing is bringing the shine this July with their Liberation Detailing Specials, starting at $110. From Jigo to Malesu, we got you covered. Call 647-SLAM or WhatsApp 483-7522. Viva Guam!
Eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at SubwayPacific.com for pickup or delivery. Online ordering at SubwayPacific.com is powered by Good to Go. We deliver. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Rise and shine with Roots Breakfast Buffet. Served daily from 6:30 to 9:30 a.m. at Guam Plaza Resort. Seniors enjoy 15% off for a limited time. Save your spot now. Call 671-649-7760 to reserve.
Hafaday, Guam! The Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association invites you to the Fair Trade Show, Guam's premier hospitality and food service event. Join us August 19th and 20th at the Hyatt Regency Guam from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Experience hands-on training sessions and exciting culinary competitions featuring professionals, apprentices, and pastry talent. Discover new products, connect with suppliers, and celebrate Guam's hospitality industry. Don't miss Fair 2026. Visit GHRA.org for details.
Begin. We are Guam. Wave 105 FM.
Welcome to the show, 2:06 in the afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Bright Side right here on Wave 105. We are KGUM FM, Daddy to Guam. My name is Brian St. Nicholas, and as always, at the start of the show, I have to introduce this gentleman right here, the host, Mr. Pauly Suba. Buenas.
We do want to thank our sponsors, Chili's Grill and Bar. Chili's, more life, great food, and memories happen here. Micro Pack for sound tech and everything in between. Think Micro Pack. Subway. At Subway, you got to refresh to be fresh. Triple J Ford. Get that free $500 gas card when you drive home with a new Ford truck. Visit triplejguam.com. Get pre-approved instantly. And GTA, we start with you. Welcome to another Bright Side here on Wave 105, 671-922-1051 or 1052. We are online, thewave105.com, as well as our YouTube channel, Wave 105.1 FM Guam. Biba Metkilis!
Biba!
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Wednesday. Usually we go 4 hours, but not on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays. We're here until 4, and then the University of Guam Tomorrow Studies Program presents Odin Finu tomorrow with Senor Ron Laguatnia and friends. And so my condolences are going out to Senor Hale, and so him and his family.
Oh,
I know that they have family business to attend to.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
We greatly appreciate Senor Hale, not just on the radio and his family, but just in the community.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Right? Absolutely.
And he's like so approachable. You can talk to him about anything.
Yeah.
Very helpful. He's
extremely.
One of those guys that if you have a question and he has the answers, he's definitely going to let you know. So, my heart goes out to him.
He's one of my favorite commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
Past commissioners.
Actually, the only favorite commissioner for me.
Yeah. There are few of them, and he's one of my favorite.
Holly Dave is the only one. That's to the heart right there. Everybody else is, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let me give you some updates.
Uh-huh.
How about we do that? We'll start the show off with more updates. Obviously, we still have the JIC releases, the recovery efforts from Typhoon Bobby. To continue to share. So the governor is extending the summer youth employment program.
Okay.
About a week, extending it out a week through Friday, July 31st. This is due to the disruptions caused by Super Typhoon Bobby. And so, that's the reality, right? You don't get to work for... you don't get to get paid for not doing any work.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't safe to go to send the students out to go and work the week of the typhoon.
I'm glad she's doing it. Because these guys. When you think, right, school is just around the corner.
Yeah.
They're gonna need their money, and
I mean, because she could have just basically said, you know,
she could have taken out a week.
Yeah, she could have taken out a week, but it's
a week worth of pay.
Yeah, it's already been budgeted for too as well. So I mean, there's no harm, no foul, pretty
much.
Yeah.
So they've extended it by a week, and so they'll work that final week of July, go all the way till Friday, July 31st, and then that will be the end of I would call another successful summer youth employment program.
Yeah. And it's 2 weeks prior too, right? Because school opens at August 10.
Yeah, officially the first day of school.
So right? I mean, timing's still good.
Program participants and parents with questions may contact DYA at 671-735-5037, 735-5037, or 5038. This is an opportunity to make up those hours and those that week lost because of Typhoon Bobby. As far as water restoration updates, GWA production crews continue to address grounded motor wells today in Atacao and Jigo. Repairs to both wells are expected to be completed, and water samples will be collected once repairs are completed. GWA reports the following as of 11 a.m. today. 93 wells online, 89 on island power, and 4 on generator power. 100% of booster pump stations are online. The Ugum surface water treatment plant and the Tumon Maui are online and now on island power. Santa Rita Springs remains on generator power. 100% of wastewater treatment plants are operational. 4 of them are on island power. 98% of the sewer pump stations are online. GWA estimates that approximately 96% of customers have had water restored since Core 4 was declared. And so out of the many customer accounts, they are saying that 1,550 customers remain without service. GWA expects the water service availability at specific parts of the island will vary throughout the day and may affect reporting data throughout the restoration process. They are aware of areas that are experiencing low to no water pressure, including parts of Agana Heights, Barrigada, Talampago, Otdud, Dedido, Harmon, Mangilao, Maina, Mongmong Totu Maiti, Nimitz Hill Estates, Sinahanya, Santa Rita Sumai, Talafofu, Tamuning, Jigo, and Zotnya. And so there are tankers all throughout the island, water tankers. And so there are 11 water tankers that are currently staged at the Barrigada Library and Jesus Cruz Street, at the Talampago Mayor's Office in Dedido. They're at Talampalawan, Astumbo Senior Center, Machinao, near UR Market. In Mangilao, it's at Santa Teresita Catholic Church. In Talafofo, at the Mayor's Office. In Jigo, on Chalan La Chance, Chalan Tomin, and Gil Breeze Subdivision. Please bring your own containers to store and haul water. There remains a water conservation measure that is in effect. GWA continues to receive reports of pressure washing, and car washing while parts of our system remain depleted. To protect the recovery, inspectors are visiting homes and businesses to seek compliance with these emergency conservation measures. We are asking every household and business to stop washing vehicles and stop all pressure washing until every zone has been fully pressurized. And there is a precautionary boil water notice that remains in effect for customers who lost water service for 48 hours or longer following Super Typhoon Bobby. It does not apply to customers who never lost water service. Customers who experience any interruptions in service may also choose to take precautions. Water should be brought to a boil for 3 minutes and allowed to cool before use. Boiled water should be used for drinking, making ice, brushing teeth, washing dishes, and preparing food until further notice. And they are doing some water quality testing as well, which began on July 7th. Sample collection is island-wide and will continue as more of the distribution systems are restored. Results will be reported to the public as they become available. And so that's the latest from the Joint Information Center, Recovery Release number 28. And so that's the information that is coming out from Homeland Security and Civil Defense. And then GPA also put out another release on the return of the bucket trucks. So I saw that information too. Let me pull it. The release says, we all know that it's Typhoon Bobby that these here, I'll just read it. Welcome return of 8 bucket trucks, utility trucks, and step vans to Guam last night. Following their deployment to Saipan as part of the authorities' commitment to mutual aid assistance to support the CNMI post-Typhoon Sinlaku, right? That they were there for the recovery efforts of Typhoon Sinlaku.
Yeah.
And so with these critical assets now back on island, GPA will be expanding the deployment of aerial equipment and utility vehicles on the field, strengthening ongoing Super Typhoon Bobby restoration efforts and helping line crews accelerate power restoration for remaining customers as Phase 3 of the recovery continues. And so if you are part of Phase 3, I was early on, and then my power is able to come back on, then we know that there's extensive work that needs to be happening, right? And so I know that they appreciate these bucket trucks and also these step vans to assist and help with the recovery efforts all throughout the island. They do extend their sincere thanks and appreciation to the Port Authority of Guam, the Port Authority Police, the U.S. Coast Guard, FEMA, Commonwealth Utilities Corporation, the Guam Fire Department, Guam Customs and Quarantine Agency, Matson Navigation, Marianas Steamship Agencies, Black Construction, Sacman Logistics, and all other partners who assisted with coordination and support for the successful return of these bucket trucks and utility vehicles. GPA thanks their customers for their patience and asks for their continued support as we work to bring our island-wide power system back to normal operations as quickly as possible. So that's the release. I know they're adjusting some of the we know that these bucket trucks were there to assist in the recovery efforts due to Typhoon Sinlaku, right? So I think we're able to remember that that's the reason why they went out to assist. Let me see here. I just saw this one release that came in from. This is the first time I'm putting eyes on this. It looks like there's going to be a special session today at 3 p.m. They were supposed to come back for budget discussions at 3 p.m. They recessed. I think they went for like 30 minutes. Today, yeah. They were only on for about 30 minutes, and then I think I heard Senator Chris Duenas say that they're going to recess until about 3 p.m. today. I thought it was for budget session, but no, this is for a special session. The 9th special session. Yeah. So let me see here, because I'm also seeing a release from the governor's office. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero has called senators into special legislative session to consider a bill addressing urgent and critical funding priorities, including continued typhoon recovery work, essential public services, critical infrastructure, and the government's financial obligations. The bill appropriates approximately 42 point. Oh wow, how convenient! That's about the amount of money that we would lose when we reduce the BPT from 4.5 to 4%.
The magic of
$42.4 million as follows. To Super Typhoon Bobby, emergency response and recovery. I'm looking at it, and that's what it looks like when you first see these numbers. However, this is to obligate these monies now because it's urgent, so not for the next fiscal year. For now, for right now. So Super Typhoon Bobby, emergency response and recovery, $13.3 million. Child care subsidy payments. I saw a release that says the governor already sent money over to pay for this child care subsidy payment. Child care subsidy payments not received from the federal government, $11.4 million. Federal aviation fuel tax remittance obligations, $9.2 million. Remember, we were talking about that?
Yeah.
And the airport has said, yes, we have let the legislature know in the past. At least the legislature has known for about a year about this $9 million that is owed back to the airport.
Yeah.
Right, for the federal aviation fuel tax remittance obligations. And what was happening was, I don't know, it's not very straightforward. We don't have a straightforward answer as to why it was going to the general fund and not to the airport. But it was going to the general fund, and the airport is saying, well, the FAA says that money was not supposed to go to the general fund. It's supposed to go to us. And so we are operating at a loss. And that $9.2 million will help us tremendously. And then on top of that, another $8.4 million for airport operational and safety needs.
So a total of about, what, 17?
$17 million. And we remember this at the oversight hearing. Yeah. That is what the airport went first, and then GVB went second.
What was GVB asking for?
$10 million for more incentive, more flight seat incentives.
So what is the 70 or 40 million that they're asking for?
Oh, a total. 42.4 for Super Typhoon Bobby, emergency
for,
response and recovery.
No, for GVB. Yeah. Was it just 10 million or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, what is their total budget? It's going to be 10 million on top of the budget that they're asking. I mean,
yeah, that's what they would ask. I think that there's like $28 million, but that's for the tourist attraction fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so $10 million from the general fund to help with seat incentives. And nobody's really, nobody's assisting the way they were before. Because when GVB came to the legislature requesting for this $10 million last time, we had senators like Jesse Lujan and Senator Chris Duenas that were in favor, that this is something that would benefit the entire island of Guam, especially the tourism industry.
I was a believer.
And then now you don't have very many, if any. I think maybe you have Senator Will Parkinson on the record in favor of the possibility of giving them more money for seat incentives. But other than that, I don't see anybody else in favor of it. So
the former, I believe it was Senator Joe San Augustine he was open to the idea of the first request that they had. But even him, he's like, hey,
because they're not seeing the return on investment.
Yeah, and that's usually the case, right? I mean,
right.
And if you want to talk about performance-based budgeting, that $10 million really is, what is your performance? Did you bring in the people that you said you were going to bring in? And I believe the numbers floating around as far as GVB is concerned is about 700 to 800 tourists within the last fiscal year, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's nowhere near. I mean, even if we have these pop-up promotions, such as, the 4th of July, the 21st, Christmas. I mean, there's so many things, right, that will come up within the year.
Uh-huh.
But, when
they didn't spend any money on 4th of July, at least not here.
Yeah, and
they did to go to like the 250th birthday party
in
DC
in the tune of $220,000,
something like that.
Yeah, and so what was
No, I think the 220 was Vegas. I don't know. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was at 220. I believe that was for the Vegas one.
Okay.
Then maybe 70,000. See, I don't have those numbers, but it was a pretty penny. It wasn't only like $5,000 or $10,000.
Yeah. And so the return on investment for both DC and Nevada, I mean, what was the return on that? I mean, aside from people going over there and saying, hey, Guam.
I mean, I think you can track that. I mean, if you have a viable way of tracking how many people showed up to your booth and then bought tickets to come to Guam. And you can, especially if you're saying that United offers discounts for those in the diaspora to come home. And so they track those numbers. I remember they were giving out those numbers on the 80th anniversary of Liberation, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, look at how many people purchased the discount.
Yeah.
10% came from GVB, and 10% came from United.
Yeah.
Now, there is a discount right now, a coupon code that you can do, apparently, in the States with United to come home for this year. Mm-hmm. So you can track it. So if they can do the same and track who came to the booth and then who, because of the booth came here, there's your return on investment, not how many people came to your booth.
Yeah.
Because many people can come to your booth and then just go straight home.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and so...
And never think about Guam again.
And you know, when you talk about people that are from Guam and returning and everything, you already know that you're not going to get the tourist money from that because they're coming here and they have family, right? So it's like, no, I am not going to go to these restaurants.
I mean, going to Jamaican Grill is, going to Chili's is part of the visitor industry, right?
And you normally would go to
You'll
places,
go to these restaurants. And you'll probably go to buffet at the hotels, too.
But, you know, 9 times out of 10, you know, if you're spending and, you know, I'm just going to focus on my family. And so if I had to choose between a barbecue... At a family gathering versus going out to Tumon and spending? No, of course not. You know, you get more people to come in and the whole family vibe. You know, so...
I'll still count it, though. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
It's hard for me to do that. Only because, like I said, I mean...
Because these are people that don't live here. They're visitors, too, right? They're going to pay for gas. They're going to go to the restaurants. They're going to tip.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go to...
And they're going to be here for 2 to 3 weeks.
I'm going to go where the locals go, right?
Yes.
Do as the Romans do.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm from here. I'm going to go down to, you know, the Papa Nizuk store down there at Inarahan.
But that's new money.
Yeah.
So that's why I would count it.
No,
that's new money.
Okay, but, you know, like I said, normally a tourist, if they come to Guam, they want the Guam experience. Mm-hmm. And for me... a case in point, like I had a family reunion in Los Angeles, right?
Right.
And me coming from Guam to be with my family out there,
right.
Definitely I was like, all right, let's go, right? Let's do everything we can. But and that's to the extent. I mean, so GVB comes, you know, I mean, aside from spending the money, which is pretty much the point that we want, right? Anything Guam, I don't need to show. You don't need to showcase Guam. I have my own feeling of what Guam is, right?
See, and that's why I think that $300,000 is a lot of money for a study.
Mm.
I don't necessarily think that you need to pay that much money for a study. We have very smart people that can come to the table and figure it out.
Yeah, Chris Barnett found out.
What's not working, right?
Chris Barnett said it right.
Right. What's not working? Obviously, the current framework is not working. Mm-hmm. It's just we have to just be honest.
Yeah, we have to look outside of the box.
Right.
I mean, you know, that's the terminology we hear nowadays, right?
Right.
Outside thinking, all
yes.
that. Yeah.
So, I mean, in the current framework, the argument also is for the Papa Nidzuks and a number of mom and pop stores throughout the island, especially in the South. Mm. And I've even had my own conversations with them, is they don't see any support from GVB. Mm. And if they do, minimal support.
Very minimal.
Minimal.
Yeah. And so that's why I would say you shouldn't count that. You know, you shouldn't count a returning resident or a former resident of Guam as, we brought them in and they spent money.
But I would count it under new money under the tourism industry.
Yeah.
Not under GVB marketing.
Yeah.
That's the difference, I think. But I would say yes, because that's what GVB presents too. Mm-hmm. The numbers are skewed when GVB provides this robust presentation. I agree with those numbers. But not all of those numbers on return of investments and the money that's coming in from tourism to go towards public safety and public education and public safety are coming from the marketing of GVB.
And I think
it's coming in because this is money being spent in this economy at the Papa Nidzuks, at the Valley of the Lati, at the PICs, at any restaurant all over the island, with or without some of that marketing.
I think that's what Vice Speaker Tony was trying to point out during the oversight hearing that Senator Jess Lahan did for GVB. And if you want to talk about, okay, invest in this particular event, let's see what tourists said, okay, I'm interested in coming, and at the same time, Guam should have been preparing for this particular event, because everybody knows it's the 250th birthday. Everybody knows that this is where America's Day begins here in Guam, and everybody's expecting, like, if we are the first to have the first sunrise and America's Day begins, what are we doing? And so that, I mean, if you want to show, okay, we marketed to Japan, we marketed to Korea, we marketed to the Philippines,
right?
And X amount of tourists are coming in specifically for the 4th of July. And because, like you said, we didn't celebrate 4th of July. I don't know why GVB didn't hit that. I mean, if they lacked the foresight to do it. I mean, we've been talking about it. We've been running ads for like almost 2 months already about the 250th birthday of America, and GVB, the sole source of promoting Guam, did not do that. And that's mind-boggling. And if the only answer you're going to get is look up in the sky for fireworks, then that, I mean, wow. The naval base, like I said, I had a friend that attended the fireworks on base, and I asked him, is there anybody from Guam? He goes, aside from the veterans that I know, everybody here is all military. And the locals that have base access, they were there. But not everybody, not even the locals took part on the 4th
Well, we
of
are
July.
all preparing for the typhoon.
Yeah, but still, I mean, come on. The typhoon didn't hit till when? The 4th of July?
Sunday night, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the 4th of July was Saturday.
Yeah, but, they still managed to pop it off, pop some bottles and everything and all, and, enjoy. I mean, it was like, okay, we're going to go in with a bang to this storm and everything. But, I mean, nonetheless, I mean, it's just, I think the priorities, and I feel bad saying this because GVB up until this point has done a great job. And
They're still doing a great job.
And
however, I mean, we have to just be honest.
Yeah, I still believe in the leadership of Senator Regine.
Yes.
And everybody there. But, when you see certain things that are not happening that should be happening, then, like you said, we got to be fair and question, why didn't you guys do it?
Well, the incentives is the $10 million. You got to you got to move on. You really do. Especially when you don't have the appetite from some of the senators that backed you up before.
Yeah. I mean,
and obviously the governor is not adding $10 million on top of in this special session.
Yeah,
when you look at all the priorities, there's no money. That's not one of these top priorities here that she is sending down to the legislature to debate on.
And as far as the study that you're talking about, the $300,000 price tag with the study about what Guam should do in GVB, right? Look, I'm all for studies and everything. Anytime we can, do a study that can show us how to improve on certain areas. But what Guam needs to do is do a study and have, and follow up on what the study says. I mean, again,
because too many times we'll see the study, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and we'll do something else.
Yeah, I mean, and follow through,
or not do anything,
or not do anything. I mean, and in some cases, like GMH, we don't even get to see it, and we paid for it.
Yeah, I don't like
$5 million.
I don't like the findings.
I don't like the findings. We want blue. We want the buildings blue instead of purple. I mean, come on, man. I mean, like I said, I'm all for studies and everything, but again,
there was also another study that GDOE did on management, right, and the board and whatnot, independent, and they didn't like it. They're like, we don't agree with what is on here, especially when it comes to how critical they were with management.
Yeah. You guys weren't supposed to bring us up. That wasn't part of the study. You.
We don't micromanage. I mean, Really, you don't micromanage? You should listen to your own meetings. Listen to your own meetings and you'll hear board members going to schools, uninvited, pointing out things.
Like
maybe that's not micromanaging, but you should respond and address why were you at this school?
Because some board members, and I'm not going to say no names, but they have the attitude like, hey, I was elected and I'm doing my job.
This is true.
All of that, I'm like, hey,
this is true. And sometimes even the public doesn't even know the role of the Guam Education Board, and they'll vote for these individuals because they expect this individual to do those things.
The proverbial phrase, right? You give a rat a cookie, he's going to want milk, right? So that's, the moment somebody gets that, that inkling of power is like,
yeah, I think also we need to do a better job, and that's the government's job, not our job. It's the government's job to educate the community. What is the role of these positions, right? Because even senator, I mean, I understand that we should be asking those in public office, how do you negotiate, or how are you going to share the concerns of the community with the federal government? I understand that, but sometimes the answer will be,
"Oh, we got congressmen ready for that."
No, but sometimes they are talking about the role of the delegate. I'm like, okay, so you obviously don't know your role as a senator, or would-be senator.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you just need to tell them, know your role, and shut your hole.
Yes. Okay.
Shut your pile.
Okay. But there are ways. There are smart ways to negotiate or to be at the table, right? Not literally, not in a literal sense, but when you start talking about going to D.C. and advocating for certain federal programs, I think that's kind of outside your realm. You need to be working with the delegate. You need to be working with agencies and grant writers and program directors and seeing how you can assist them, because they're the ones that are working directly with their federal partner on this grant. So you should actually be responding saying, I need to empower the agency and find out what resources they need so that they can correctly or literally be able to work with this agency or for this program so we don't lose the program.
Yeah. You ever hear the name Jack Abramoff?
So that's what I mean. When you have these conversations, I'm going to ask a question and you'll answer however you answer, and that's your answer.
Yeah,
that's your response. I'm not going to coach somebody.
It kind of makes you wonder, like everything that Guam is asking for, right? We have a congressman, we have legislature, we have a governor, right? And again, by extension, it's just an extension of the federal government. Really, we don't even have a true government or true representation when you think about it.
True.
Right? It was the Organic Act that gave us all of this.
True.
And that came from Congress. So what if Guam says, you know what, enough, right? Let's get $30 million together and let's hire a lobbyist to fight for, I mean, if anything, a lobbyist probably have more power than any one of our representatives.
Maybe.
I mean, because,
but the worry is they'll take that $40 million and pocket it and say,
and
who's watching me?
And nothing?
And nothing.
And that's been going on for the last how many years since we got our government?
Yes.
Since the 70s? Well, what? Yeah. 50,
and nothing.
55 years?
And that's happening with so many people that hire lobbyists.
Yeah.
This is the long game. We're playing the long game here.
No, and that's why I brought up the name Jack Abramoff. I'm telling you, a lot of my politician friends that know Jack Abramoff, they're like, "Shut up, Brian!
Yeah.
Shut up!"
Yeah, that is
I will not say your name.
That is the worry. But Uncle Johnny brought up a good point. We might not even necessarily have to raise $30 million, and this is super out of the box thinking. Let's just vote for a delegate for the Senate, and just send that individual out and say, here's our representative for Senate, for the U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you talking about? You don't have a representative. The media will bite and be like, Guam sent somebody to represent them in the U.S. Senate?
And that,
how the audacity. And then that's going to get just like Mr. Bordalio and Mr. F.B. Leon Guerrero went and used the media
Carlos,
to tell our story.
Carlos Taitano, I remember interviewing him way back. I mean, this guy is like a walking historical encyclopedia when it comes to Guam. He was the one. He was a part of that walkout back in the late 50s or early 50s. Yeah, the great walkout from the legislature.
Because 1950 is when we had our government, right?
1947, I believe. It was 1947. And so he was a member of the Guam Congress back then, and the representatives at the time didn't feel like they were getting a fair share, and it was run by the naval government. So in protest to the naval governor, I mean, and mind you, this had a lot to do with taxes. That's how it all started. There was a non-Chamorro that had a business that they wanted to tax him, and he was like, well, you guys can't tax me because you guys aren't U.S. citizens and all that. And so, and the naval governor, when they decided to do that in protest, the naval governor actually went out to the other villages and tried to recruit people
more.
To take their place,
right.
but they didn't want.
Right.
So there was a movement, there was a unity of our people saying, no,
right.
that person is the one that represents me. So the what Carlos and everybody did at the time was they utilized the media.
Right.
And back to what you said, they utilized the media, and you're talking about CBS, NBC at the time, and you got to look at what was going around globally, right? Communism was spreading. And the United States was supposed to be like, oh, no, we cannot come into a different small country and dictate, because at the time they were trying to get into, China had just turned communistic, and then they were looking at Korea and Vietnam. And so the USSR at the time was saying, hey, look, you can't tell us that what we're doing is wrong when you guys have that little thing going on at Guam, and, you guys are colonizing them. And so they were like, okay, so that's how the Organic Act ended up starting. It was like, we got to give these guys self-government and all that stuff, and let them be have democracy and elect their own people and everything and all.
Right.
That's how that whole started. So if you take that, if you take that same idea, going back to what you said, and just said, hey, let's just vote for, our senator.
It's not my idea. That was Uncle Johnny at Tulai.
Oh,
but I like it.
I like it. Yeah. Sometimes you just really got to force your hand and everything, because anything that would make America look bad in front of the entire world, definitely, it's gonna cause some waves, and a lot of people and you're gonna get a lot of people like, well, I've always said that if the United States knew how much money they were pumping into Guam as a taxpayer back there, I'll be furious. I'm like,
but
Guam, I've never even heard of that. Why are we putting out so much money? All for national defense.
For national defense.
Like what? Come on, a lot of these taxpayers just don't know what's going on with Guam and how much money they spent. So, when you cause so much noise that way, it might be.
Marjorie Taylor Greene was upset when she found out how much money is going to Guam. She goes, why to other countries?
Yeah.
Because she didn't realize at the time that we were a U.S. territory.
And then look at the guy, what's his name, Johnson, Congressman Johnson, that said that we're going to sink because of the military buildup.
It's going to flip
come on,
over.
Man. These are the same people that we're supposed to go to for our plight. Like, they don't even know. Guam? What's Guam? Can you eat it? I'm like, no, I said Guam, not gum. Okay. But
to be fair though, that's what's on our baggage, right? GUM.
Yeah. And so again, I kind of like the idea of of Uncle Johnny. Just hey, and if they bite, they bite. If they don't, we don't recognize.
You gotta come with a message.
Yeah, we don't recognize you guys as having
like,
this.
We're
I'm like,
tired
you guys
of
don't recognize this. Period.
Right. We're tired of not being represented, and so This person is going to come to all of the committees.
No, and goes
every
all
time.
The way back.
Yeah, every time.
You want to go back to 250 years? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, who was it that said taxation without representation?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, okay, we don't have, and that's why they don't tax us, right? I mean, that's why we hold our own taxes. You know. So yeah, no, I think Uncle Johnny's idea is good. I like it.
We'll take the break.
Yes.
We do know that Alex is coming in, right?
Yes, he's coming in at 3:00.
Okay.
He'll be here for the Beyond the Ballad.
Right.
And I'm glad that he's in. It was supposed to be Ken Taidagui, but I
think he's still off island.
He's still off island.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go ahead and the show must go on, and we're gonna, whether it's one or two, we're gonna still try.
Well,
to
he
get
was
on.
supposed to come on with Callan, and Callan took the whole hour.
Yeah.
So Alex is available today, and
Yes.
so we'll do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna take a short little break. We'll
Right.
come back right after this.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, may I ask a few questions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog.
Great. Do you have a pool outside?
Nope, just a big old backyard.
Nice. Another question. Are there any unlocked guns in the home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about what we can bring for dessert.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
As parents, we have a million things running through our minds. Playdates, checkups, groceries, laundry, diapers, work, carpool schedules, picture day, swim team, did we mention diapers, birthday parties, meal prep, lost permission slips, dentist appointments, and the dog that still needs to be walked. So it's easy to make a mistake. Oh, I forgot birthday candles. Sit tight, hon, I'll be right back. We say we'd never put our kids in danger by leaving them in the car alone. Oh, wait, since when are candles not on the baking aisle? But never happens. And temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you, and every time you park the car, stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Once I completed rehab, my mom applied for a Canine Companion service dog. Last January, I finally got to meet my service dog, Marcia. We quickly developed a very strong bond. Together, we go to my horseback riding lessons, school band practice, swim meets, and archery classes. Together, we pick vegetables, and we like to cut flowers. I love Marcia. She makes me feel like together we can do anything. I can't imagine life without her. She's a part of the family. We are just one of the thousands of teams Canine Companions has paired together over the past 50 years. With your help, we can continue for another 50. Visit canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
Eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at SubwayPacific.com for pickup or delivery. Online ordering at SubwayPacific.com is powered by Good to Go, We Deliver. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Rise and shine with Roots Breakfast Buffet. Served daily from 6:30 to 9:30 a.m. at Guam Plaza Resort. Seniors enjoy 15% off for a limited time. Save your spot now. Call 671-649-7760 to reserve.
KGUM-FM, Dededo, the talk of Guam. This is Wave 105.1 FM, a Glimpses media radio station.
Left a good job in the city,
away from 3 o'clock hour, and we'll just roll until about 3 p.m. when Alex Duenas will be in our in-studio guest for Beyond the Ballad. This is the BrightSide right here on Wave 105. Standing by, Mr. Pauly Suba. Buenas.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Wednesday afternoon. I got an update from Public Health. They have a couple of events on the very near future. There's one today at the Micronesia Mall near Winchell's from 3 to 7 p.m. And so there's going to be a Storm EBT card distribution at the Micronesia Mall.
There's a Winchell's?
Yeah.
In the mall?
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hardly ever go there. It's on one of the wings. I think it's on the same wing as... No, Denny's closer to Payless. So it's on the opposite wing, like your... maybe Max's is on that side. I forget. But it's in one of those wings. Let me see here. Then there's also another Storm EBT card distribution at the Micronesia Mall tomorrow from 3 to 7 p.m. There will be a DHAP food commodity distribution at Gigo from 3 to 6 tomorrow. Friday from 3 to 7, another... I'm sorry, not... I keep saying Storm. My bad. That's my mistake. I think this is the summer EBT. Let me just double check here. Yeah, it is the summer EBT. I know. Okay. I got everybody excited. My bad. That's my fault. It's the summer EBT card that they're going to be distributing. So let me go back to that. So there's a number of opportunities to grab that summer EBT. Again, tomorrow from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Micronesia Mall. Today from 3 to 7 also at the Micronesia Mall area next to Winchell's. Then again at the Micronesia Mall on Friday, 3 to 7 p.m. Saturday, they've got the DHAP food commodity distribution at Malolo, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then they're doing a back-to-school immunization and physical exam clinic at the Northern Region Community Health Center Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3. And they'll be back at it again at the Micronesia Mall Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for more summer EBT card distributions at the Micronesia Mall.
Awesome.
On the 18th, they are doing another back-to-school immunization and physical exam clinic at the Southern Region Community Health Center from 10 to 3. We've got Jason on the line.
Yes, Jason from yesterday.
Oh, nice. Half a day, Jason.
Hey, Mr. Pauly, remember I said Guam had the best drivers yesterday?
Yes, you did.
I forgot. I just wanted to add on. Another reason why is because half the time we don't even know where we're at on the road. There's no lines. You know, you just got to drive with your imagination if you're in the lane or on the shoulder or in the turning lane.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, especially over on Route 10 right now as they're paving some of that road, right? You don't see some of those lines yet. And then in the village, I see that happen all the time.
And if you're not from here, you won't even know if you're on the oncoming traffic lane or not. So that's why you just got to be from Guam. You just got to know.
You just got to know.
You just got to know whether this lane goes straight or turns left.
How long have you been driving? Since you were 15 and 9 months?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
15 and a half. 15 and a half.
How stressful was it when you first went behind the wheel and you had to navigate through all of that?
For me, I think it was okay because I always stared out the window as a kid because I'd get motion sick on an iPad.
Okay.
So yeah. Also, to add on, I was listening yesterday.
Yeah.
And you guys were talking about our transportation on Guam, and I think that also ties in with being the best drivers in the world because you don't have any other option to get around.
This is true. The public transportation is not as consistent or stable.
Yes, and even for our tourists, too. You know, we always want people to come to Guam, but when they come to Guam, or, you know, like when you go to Japan, you walk everywhere.
Sure.
there's public transportation. But when you come to Guam, the first thing you got to do is you're forced to take a taxi because there's a sign saying you can't walk from the airport to like supposed like heart of Guam, Tumon.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. It is very unfortunate. That can't be the solution, to turn around and use the taxi to get to where you need to go. I think you need to figure out a way. If we don't have safe sidewalks, then the government needs to assist with better public transportation for the visitors, because they're going to remember that. They're going to remember the first thing that they experienced was walking all the way down and then told that, looking at a sign and that says no pedestrians crossing. So what are their options then?
Mm-hmm. I completely agree, and it's I just mentioned the visitors because that's what we're always pushing for our tourism economy to come back. But it's also good for the people of Guam to have some other form of transportation. We live on such a tiny island on the globe. Like, why can't we just walk safely from point A to point B?
Sure.
That's how we used to do it back then. So, why can't we do it safely now?
Sure. Yeah. One of my pet peeves, too, is we live on a tropical island, right? But we don't have green spaces. And so when we are walking, if we choose to walk, there's hardly any trees. That blows my mind. We should be planting trees. I understand that we're still recovering from a typhoon, but we went 20 years without one, and we paved medians in the middle of the road that used to have some trees, and we didn't put those trees back, and we definitely didn't plant any trees on the sides of the road where you could, to create these shades to make it a little more comfortable in a tropical island to walk.
No, yeah, I completely agree, and I think that's also another one of Guam's problems too. Is we love to build new things, have all these new buildings, things like that, but we don't like to take care of them. We don't like to upkeep and do the maintenance so that these things will last and stay nice, for everybody.
Jason, you are a very intelligent individual. You are beyond your years. Very wise.
Thank you so much.
You've been paying attention, my friend.
Yes, I have been. It's hard not to when it's right in front of your face.
There you go. I couldn't agree more. I appreciate you so much. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up? What else are we experts at?
No experts, just observing. And I know you're about to do Beyond the Ballot right now, and you asked me what's important, and I mentioned number one, the environment, deep sea mining, a lot of erosion that's happening, Marble Cave, and the trail. One of the several trails to Tarzan Pools being bulldozed for a solar farm. But I just remembered also is the Palisades, that landslide. That was pretty bad. But, who are you going to hold accountable for that? We're just going to have someone pay, like, a fine that's, like, kind of like nothing to them,
Yeah, that's fair. Absolutely, Jason.
Just something to think about for the ballot coming up. And I know you guys got to go, so thank you so much.
Thanks for the call. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, KGUM-FM in Dededo, Guam. He's correct. We got Alex Duenas on the other side of these right here on Wave 105.
KGUM-FM, Dededo, the talk of Guam. This is Wave 105.1 FM, a Glimpses media radio station.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. U.S. Central Command says it's carried out another wave of strikes on Iran and has now reimposed the blockade of its ports. Well, President Trump's backed off his idea of charging fees for ships using the Strait of Hormuz after talking to Gulf leaders.
Kings and emirs and all of the people that we all know and we all love, and they've been very strong partners. And they said, we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars.
The Trump administration's ordered ICE officers to suspend most vehicle stops after 2 deadly shootings in the past week. Inflation cooled more than expected last month. The Labor Department reports consumer prices actually fell from May to June, though compared with June of last year, prices were up 3.5%. On Capitol Hill, new Fed Chair Kevin Warsh told a House panel,
"The members of our committee have no tolerance for persistently elevated inflation, and we share a resolute commitment to ensure price stability."
And Supreme Court justices are urging Congress to spend more money on their security.
In a House hearing room, it was the first congressional testimony by justices in 7 years. Elena Kagan told lawmakers threats against the high court have been rising since a draft opinion overturning Roe v. Wade leaked 4 years ago.
For some of us, those threats have